has been amazing. I don't really feel like I'm craving this or that from back home. I've enjoyed so much the variety of foods that we have here, and yeah, it's I think because it's so welcoming and so interesting that I haven't really missed home very much at all.
Hello, welcome to the Easy English Interviews Podcast Season 2. My name is Chris Kent. I'm an associate professor of English as a second language in Japan. This podcast has been created to give English students some easy and interesting listening practice. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the next interview. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 10. For today's podcast, I would like to focus on two things. For today's grammar point, please listen to the way Rudy uses the relative pronoun that. In English, we use the word that as a relative pronoun quite often. For example, we might say, there are many people that travel to Japan. Or we might say, my brother is the person that helps me the most. In today's conversation, listen for this, especially when Rudy and Chris are talking about religion in Japan. For the English usage point, I would like to just point out how Chris uses the word maximize to describe the act of making the most of something. In English, we use the words maximize and minimize as verbs to describe how we will increase or decrease the possible amount of something. For example, I might say that I want to maximize my English practice time to get the best results and speak better. Finally, at the end of today's podcast, as usual for Season 2, listen to the comprehension questions and feel free to try to answer the questions in real time if you can. If you need to, write down the questions first and then listen again to practice answering. Okay, so let's get to it. Please enjoy today's Easy English interview. All right, so today we're going to be talking to a special guest who has come all the way from my home country of Canada. So can you please tell everyone your name, how old you are, and where you're from?
My name is Rudy Tessman. I'm 47 years old, from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and in the Electronic Systems Engineering Technology program at Sask Polytech.
Okay, so the other students I've met are all generally younger. So can you explain why you are going back to school at your age?
So my original career was as an electrician, and I'm returning to the same school that I originally went to. It was called SIAST at that point. Mm-hmm. But I was just wanting something a little bit more advanced than the electrical I was doing, and something that was going to be a little bit easier on my body, my knees, my back, that kind of thing. So, and I always liked the idea of something that would use both a bit more advanced, some engineering as well, but also still some hands-on, and this program was very good for that.
Mm-hmm. I see. So going back to school to kind of improve or up your education, does that happen a lot in Canada?
It is happening more, is what I hear. It didn't usually happen in the past. Usually people would just stick with one career and complete it. Mm-hmm. But it seems to be happening more often now that that people are doing that. My wife, anyone that she speaks to, they're just really impressed that I'm doing this, and they're like, it's more people should do that, because sometimes people are unhappy where they are, and then they don't want to go back to school to improve their situation.
Yeah, well, I think especially in this day and age where access to education is easier. I think maybe many years ago it was the company would take more of the responsibility of training, but now there's so much of a pre-career training that goes on that going back can help you switch gears in the middle. I think
so. Yeah,
that's great. To talk about something more along the lines of what you're doing now, you came to Japan obviously for this trip. Can you tell me why you wanted to, or how that happened?
It was something I always really wanted to do. Like, Japan always seemed like a really interesting culture to visit, and on top of just culturally, there always have been a really advanced society as far as electronics and automation and that kind of thing, robotics. I think they're known worldwide for how advanced they are, and especially with my program that I'm in, I just thought it was a great opportunity to come and visit a place where it's so established.
Right. So has something, since you've been here then, has something impressed you or something really interesting that you have noticed since you've been here?
Well, I always knew that the robotics was used on the more larger scale. You see videos on commercials where you're using building cars with the automation. What impressed me was the really small scale automation, really small little robotics in some of the company tours I went to. That's what really impressed me, the scale of how small they were able to get those, and the precision of the movements was just amazing.
Yeah, I was impressed too. So I joined you on some of those tours, and for me, even though I've been in Japan quite a while, that was my first time to get into those companies, thanks to you guys, and I was quite impressed as well. Yeah. Has there been anything that you found more difficult or that you didn't like about Japan that's kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say didn't like, but something that was more challenging?
Not really. It seems so welcoming, even though I don't know the language as well as I would like to. Next time when I come for a return visit, I hope to brush up on my Japanese far greater than I did right now. But it seemed very welcoming. A few little things, my size, trying to fit into some of the sandals and things like that. That was a little bit tricky because I have bigger feet and things like that. But really, it's a very welcoming culture, and I have a really hard time trying to find anything I didn't like.
I think that's pretty common. My family and friends who have visited have said the same thing. Size-wise, things are a bit difficult to fit into, but culture-wise, it's quite easy.
Yes, that's true.
Okay. Did anything happen to you, if you had to choose one story, something that shocked you the most or was funny or just something different that happened to you that you didn't expect? Was there anything like that?
Not really a story. It was, I guess I didn't know very much about some of the cultural aspects of going to the shrines and the and temples and things like that. In Western culture, sometimes you're not allowed, they're not really welcoming if you're not of that same religion. And I found it very interesting how welcoming they were to everyone, essentially. They didn't see oh, you can't come here if you're not Buddhist, or if all those sorts of things didn't seem to really happen, where sometimes in different churches, if you're not from there, they're it's a little bit more limiting of how welcoming they are. So I found that was probably one of the nicest things of how readily accessible it is to everyone who wants to go there. Yeah,
I find that too. I think it's partly culture, but I think in Japan, most people kind of mix their different, Shinto and different religions, right? So they have different rites or different things during their lifetime that they will turn to one religion for getting married. Might be like a Christian style wedding, but that will be mixed with wearing a kimono and going to a temple. And it's, I think the way it is in Japan is that everyone is welcome to take part in any sort of those religious types of, not only go into the places, but to do those types of events. I was just thinking the other day, there's Shichigo-san, which is for kids, girls that are 3 and 7 and boys that are 5. It's kind of like a rite of passage type of event. And I've seen many pictures of, foreign kids coming here and wearing kimono and trying it on, and they are very accepting of that. I think it's something that we could learn from in the West.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So was there anything that you found that you missed the most about home, about Canada, while you were here?
I did miss my family, so my wife and 2 kids. I missed getting to spend time with them, but with technology these days, I would just go on Messenger, WhatsApp, and call them and touch base. So I never really felt that far away from them. So the food has been amazing. I don't really feel like I'm craving this or that from back home. I've enjoyed so much the variety of foods that we have here, and I think because it's so welcoming and so interesting that I haven't really missed home very much at all.
I think, a 2-week trip is just about right for, just dipping your feet, just trying out the culture and seeing what it's like. But I do hope you come back in the future.
Oh, I definitely want to. My wife she made me promise that we would go back at some time because she really wants to come here as well. So, we're definitely planning a return visit.
I think your kids would love it too.
Yes, they would.
So beyond that, how do you think this trip will affect your future? Like, will it have any effect on, say, your professional career, do you think? Or just it'll be more of an experience that you'll have to share with people back home?
I think both. I think from a technical perspective, I think it kind of opens my eyes to the world of possibilities of how we can start working on even much more smaller automation and simple things like sorting screws and things like that, like some of the robots or some of those automation in the factories we toured. And then culturally, just to really remember how important it is to just experience other cultures in the world, and that we need to be much more cultural citizens rather than just a nation or a citizen of one nation of the world. Put ourselves out there and become more global minded and think more about other people of the world rather than just ourselves.
Yeah, well, I think it helps not only with becoming more global, but I think it really helps you to appreciate your own country even more. When you can see what other countries are like, what they value, what's important to them, then you can compare and contrast that to your own country.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question for you is not really a question, but do you have a message that maybe any students who are learning English that are watching this podcast or listening to this podcast or watching on YouTube, do you have any message for them about their studies?
Well, one of the things that I've basically noticed in my lifetime is anything that you want to get better at, it always takes practice. Practicing is probably the most essential skill to improving any skill.
Right.
It's that doing it on a regular basis, whether it's sports or learning a new language or learning a new skill or a profession. You need to practice those in order to get better at it.
Right. So it's like getting good at practice helps you get good at what it is that you're practicing.
Yes.
Yeah. I think there are some things that they do in Japan and in Canada as well where the practice isn't done well enough and it's kind of a waste of time. You should be able to maximize your practice time and really do it almost every day, and that will help you to become better, I think.
Yeah. And practicing as close to real world situation as you can. I think of in sports, we would practice how we were going to play in the game.
Right.
Don't just practice just to go through the motions.
Right.
Practice as close to the level that you would need to do it in the real world as possible.
Good advice. Well, thank you very much for taking the time, Rudy, and I hope the rest of your trip is as good as the first part has been.
Thank you very much.
All right, here are today's comprehension questions. Number 1. How old is Rudy? Number 2. What was Rudy's original career? Number 3. What is happening more in Canada these days? Number 4. What impressed Rudy about robotics in Japan? Number 5. Does Rudy have small or large feet? Number 6. What did Rudy find surprising about the temples and shrines in Japan? Number 7. What did Rudy miss from Canada? Number 8. Does Rudy want to come back to Japan? Number 9. What does Rudy think about practice? Number 10. What does Rudy say is important about practicing in sports? Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview with Rudy Tessman, and I would like to say thank you very much for listening. Also, I hope that you will try the comprehension questions when you have free time so you can check your listening ability in English. And please, if you would like to be notified by email whenever a new podcast is up, become a subscriber at kjkentmsed.substack.com. You can also check out Easy English Interviews now on YouTube and purchase the textbook for Season 1 on Amazon. All right, thank you again, and see you next time when we will speak with another interesting person. Bye-bye from Easy English Interviews.